Hello and welcome to Let Me Bore You to Sleep. This is Q&A Friday. Welcome. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. My name's Jason Newland. My website's jasonnewland.com. It's the home of my everything. It's my everything, man. It's my world. It's my... all the latest recordings are on there. So I've got quite a few questions I want to cover. More than I thought I would have, considering I didn't actually ask for any questions until yesterday. Kind of left it to the last minute. I'm going to do a little bit back to front though. Well, a couple of things. So Hillary asked me, where have you been? Where you been? I'll answer that first because I haven't done a Let Me Bore You to Sleep since... I'm not sure when. I'm going to have to check. Oh, excuse me. Oh, gas. Last Friday. So it's been a whole week. And those regular listeners or watchers or whatever will know that I very rarely go a whole week without making a new recording. Not making, but making one. So yeah. I have, however, done 2 Deep Sleep Whisper recordings. One on the 18th and one on the 19th. Well, try and keep things light. You know, when it comes to the recordings, try and keep things light. And if I do talk about my life, I try and make it a little bit light-hearted and perhaps slightly silly. Perhaps a bit more exaggerated in a more satirical, ridiculous kind of way. But, you know, anyway, I'll get this. I'll sum it up. So Friday, I know the Q&A Friday wasn't done till Saturday because we had a break-in downstairs Saturday morning. But that's not the reason I didn't do a Q&A. I had it just was some silly stuff. A neighbour was begging me for money because there were like some really quite serious situation they were making out. And then I had another neighbour calling up crying, and I don't know why they were after either. I just didn't know what to do with that. And then so that's 2 different neighbours, and then I had a neighbour got broken into Saturday, well, midnight. So Friday night, Saturday morning, whichever way you want to look at it. So I was up till about 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning with the police and stuff, because I called the police. So Friday, I've written Friday off because of the 2 things that happened. It left bad taste, you know. And then the Friday night thing with a break-in. And it fried me a little bit for the next couple of days. So Saturday, Sunday, there's boxing on Saturday night. I did do the Q&A Friday, Saturday afternoon. But Sunday I wasn't much good for anything. I can't say I particularly even enjoyed the boxing on Saturday, to be fair. So I wasn't in wasn't quite in the mood. And then It's not even 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I shouldn't be yawning. So Sunday kind of went through and I just rested. Monday, I go around to collect the money that I was owed. And, you know, have I not talked about Monday? I'm sure I talked about Monday. Did I not talk about Monday at all? Because I had a whole thing happen on Monday. And surely I'd have done a Let Me Boy to Sleep. Did I not? Wow. Okay. So Monday, I'm taking Vinny out. Getting ready to take him out. And there's somebody outside the front looking through the black bags, taking photographs of the contents. You know, looking for, well, holding up like an envelope or something like that. And I realised it was my black bag because I could see the pizza box sticking up. The rubbish goes out on Wednesday, so I put it out on a Monday morning or something. So it's a couple of days early. But there's never had any hassle for it before. So I sort of like, what are you doing? I didn't know who the bloke was. I just saw the back of him and he got a little bit confrontational. And it turns out he was a nice bloke and I had seen him before. He's a regular council worker, collects bags, and apparently he was collecting stuff that he shouldn't have been collecting. He was just doing everyone a favour by taking stuff that shouldn't have been put there. But the council, in their glorious educated minds, have decided that even if you put your own rubbish out the day before it's supposed to be collected, it's still fly tipping, even if it's your rubbish and you live there. It's fly tipping. That's not what I understand fly tipping to be. So yeah, I mean, we've had crap just dropped and dumped in the past, and we had a smelly mattress out there a couple of months back. One of the neighbours literally just puts bags out, doesn't even do the bag up, just puts it out, or just chucks stuff, just chucks it in the garden, in the front garden, like empty wrappers, like burgers and stuff like that. Just so yeah, see, I don't do that stuff. So that I understand is an issue. So I calmed it down. Well, we calmed each other down. I kind of like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. He didn't want to do it, but he has to do it. They basically turned him into a kind of traffic warden, you know. And there's very few jobs that are disliked, people that are more disliked in this country than traffic wardens. And this is even more seedier in a sense of going through people's bags, rubbish bags. And so I feel sorry for the bloke having to do that. I don't know how legal it is to be doing that anyway. I just thought if somebody is copying the identification, you know, it's like taking information and then they can steal the ID of the person. Although who on earth would want to do that with me? What would be the point in that? So I went and did that. Then I knocked on a friend's door to tell him, because another neighbour around the corner, and then we walked around again to take him out for a bit. And the council bloke was a little bit further up. He was outside on some grass outside of my friend's building, looking through it, and he said, "Oh, I found something." He said, "I've got an address here. They're going to get a fine." I said, "Really?" He said, "They're not from around here. They're not from this estate, from this area." I said, "Well, where are they from?" And he gave the address. I didn't know whose address it was, but my friend told me whose it was. It's someone that I know. Happens to be the person I lent money to. And on Friday, Anyway, I said to them, I pleaded to this man. I said, please, let me take the bag back to the owner, the house owner, who is the mother of the woman who owes me money. Let me tell him that. He was like, what do you mean owes you money? What are you talking about? What's that got to do with black bags? It's all about the bins. I want to talk about the bins and nothing else. And he said, all right. So I saved her £200. Now, I thought it would be like a £20 charge, but couldn't believe it when he said 200. I was going to let them have the £20 charge. I'm like, well, I don't care about that, but 200, that's just ridiculous. So I said, please, let me take it back to her. I'll explain the situation, because it wasn't her that put it out there. It would be one of her kids that did it, probably. So he said, fine. So I said, thank you. I walked around to the house, walked up, and I thought, well, I'll do two things at once. I collect my money that I need, and then I'll give the bag of rubbish and explain the situation. And just as we get up there, the bloke with the van, the council person, bibs his horn and waves to me. So I was like, because he knew where the address was, because he was about to give them a fine. Anyway, so first thing, I give the rubbish, said, oh yeah, just saved you £200, saved your mum £200. No, thank you, of course. Oh no. So I just like, I'll leave that there. There was no interest at all in that situation. It was like, oh, that was someone else's fault. So, okay, good. I didn't get a chance to speak to her mum. And then I said, oh, can I come get my money? I come to get my money. She said, oh, next Monday. I said, what? Next Monday? Not, is it okay if I pay you next Monday? Please, sir. Okay, I don't need the sir, but just flippantly, almost like I was a butterfly or a moth that was kind of in the way. No, go away. Next Monday, come back. Like that. Next Monday. So this is someone that knocked on my door on a Friday, in tears practically, shaking, all like flustered, sort of saying, oh, I'm in so much trouble. If I don't pay this money, I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble physically, possibly. Like, oh, I owe money to someone that's really dodgy, and so okay, come in. Phoned her son up for the money. Her son said he couldn't give her the money until after work. But I need it now. Okay, fair enough. Well, I said, well, I'll pay it now, and then you get the money off your son, and you can give it to me on Monday. Rather than like hassle, I'm going to hassle you over the weekend. Relax over the weekend, and I'll get it off you on Monday. Okay. And the Monday comes, and I'm like, nah. Flicking me away. Gooey. I was like, what? See, if it had just been like, can you lend me some money? Oh, I ain't got it. Can we, but it was such a big deal to get it. It's like such a big story. And I've seen her with this person that she owes money to, and she's nice as pie with her. Like, really friendly with her. It's like, okay, this doesn't make sense to me. But no, and then on Tuesday, another neighbour asked me for £60, telling me that they have to pay their rent and they need £60. I said, well, sorry, but the person I lent money to Friday hasn't paid me back the £80. So I ain't got nothing. And I start getting phone calls Wednesday, Thursday, and eventually I answered the phone. And at this point, I was in bed. I spent the last couple of days in bed. And because it just kind of went a little bit down a bit. And it turns out it was another person after money. So that's another £40. And it's really hard to know what to believe anymore because the stories are so horrible. If you know what I mean, they're not like, if I need to borrow money off someone, I'll just say I need to borrow money. Either lend it to me or don't lend it to me. It's, you know, I'm not going to give you a big story. I might just tell you the truth, but I'm not going to paint you a picture. You know, I'm not going to, like, I guess the worst thing in the whole wide world, because I can't imagine borrowing £60 is going to solve a life or death situation. It's, you know, it's just really weird. Oh, I'm gonna lose my house and my family are gonna leave me, and there's a comet coming towards the planet. There's a comet coming towards it, and my feet have fallen off. What can I do to help? Can you lend me £40, please? Give me £40. That'll solve all my issues. What would you be spending that money on? Let me think. So, and I told a friend, like, I'm a soft touch. And I thought this was going to end like last year. I'm just having a moan. I'm sorry. The moan will be over in a minute. Just having a good old moan. This isn't relaxing, is it? I'm sorry. So yeah, in the last week, since last Friday, 80 and 40, what's that? 120. So £120 down, and was asked also for another 60 that I didn't give, and another neighbour knocked on my door, different neighbour this is, wanting money, but I didn't answer the door. But they only ever knock on the door when they want money. Wow. Oh, another neighbour was knocking on my door, were trying to come up on Saturday night, and they only ever do that when they're trying to get money from me. So, this is just ridiculous. A really weird week. It just got to me a little bit. But I woke up today and I'm feeling better. Thanks, you depressed us, but you're feeling better. Brilliant. Oh, no, please don't. I just, you know, ask me how, where have I been? That's where I've been. I tried to do a couple of relaxing sessions along the way, and I managed to do that in those little gaps when I felt all right. But oh yeah, I can't post videos on Facebook anymore, which is what I was thinking about doing for the Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Just had a notice from Facebook saying that any videos posted on there will only be available for 30 days. They're not stored anymore, like they always used to get stored forever if you wanted them to. No more. So I'm going to have to go through my Facebook videos and download them. I've got to the 11th of May or 11th of June, I think, to download everything before they get deleted. Because anything that's over 30 days old will be automatically, instantly deleted. So it's worth knowing that. If you've got Facebook videos, I don't know if it counts for pictures as well, but videos, if you've got videos on there, family members and important videos that you don't want to lose, because Facebook, in the UK at least, are going to be deleting them at some point. And this was an official Facebook, it wasn't like a dodgy Facebook email. It was an official email from Facebook. A notification. I'll read it out to you actually. What does it say? Okay, 1,083 days since your last eye test and counting. We've been counting the days since your last eye test. Hi Jason, we miss you, and perhaps your eyes have missed us, especially if your vision has changed since your last eye test. Booking one now gives us the perfect opportunity to see how they're doing. Oh, and there's no better way to maintain healthy eyes, so come back to Specsavers today. Go on, you know you should. Book online. No, that's the wrong email. Where is it? Okay, this is the one. Hi Jason, please can you stop sending those pictures to me? I told you I didn't want. No, wrong video, wrong message. Listen, mate, I don't want to see any more of those pictures. He's like, no, wrong one. Okay, here we go. Download, and this is from notification@facebookmail.com. It might not be Facebook. It might not be Facebook. It's a con. No, it is. It is. Facebook.com/business help. Learn more. Yeah, according to this, it looks right. Notifications@facebookmail.com. So yeah, download your old Facebook live videos by 21st of June. We are sending this email because you have previously broadcasted a Facebook live video. Changes are being rolled out by Facebook to its storage policy for Facebook live videos starting 19th of February. Facebook live videos will be retained for 30 days by default on your Facebook page or profile, during which you can replay, delete or download the video. After 30 days, you'll no longer be able to access your live broadcasts, and they will be automatically removed from your profile or page and deleted from our servers. As part of the transition, we will be deleting all Facebook live videos older than 30 days, and we want to make sure that you have the opportunities to save your Facebook live videos. Any existing live videos published before 19th of February will be deleted from your page or profile, but you can download them until the 21st of June. Alright, so this is from... God, how loud is that in the garden? This is basically the live video, so it might not count for normal videos. You'll have to check that one out yourself. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. So back to that. So that's where I am now. That's where I've been this week. Another question I've got, which was from, I'm not going to say the person's name, but I'm going to read the message out anyway, but I'm not going to say the person's name because I did answer it, but I'm just thinking there might be a better answer than I gave. Can you hear that scream in the garden? Hey, do hypnosis sessions ever cause a listener to feel nausea, like the same type of nausea associated with motion sickness? I'm just wondering if that's a common side effect, and if so, what's the reason for this sometimes happening? And I said, first time I've heard of this, I advise stop listening to that particular recording or take a break from it and try again another time, maybe what you're listening to. The answer to that was the first time it happened to me, I was listening to a meditation of some sort on an app. Most of the stuff I find on there has a seemingly positive effect on me. My instinct was the same as yours. I quit listening to that session. I should have made note of it, which session it was. But then it happened again when I was listening to your episode called Confused to Sleep, and I stopped listening to that one as well. It's so weird, it's a mystery. There is information on Google about it, but it's going to be a lot of personal opinions and stuff, I think, with Google. It's I just said go with your gut. Basically, maybe that's the wrong wording to use thinking about it, but go with how you feel. If something's doesn't feel right, just stop listening. Stop, maybe seek a real hypnotherapist in person, locally. It may help, and that's something that I would say to anyone. Don't rely on online free videos on YouTube or podcasts for real life therapy. it's better to go and see a therapist. It just may be much more helpful. As far as the nausea, that recording I did, which was Confused to Sleep, it was a bit of a mind fart, as it were. It was kind of a bit weird, probably a little bit trippy. So, and that was part of it, but no, not to be trippy, but it was different from my normal stuff. I did another one with magic mirrors the other day, which is, again, it could, I guess, compared to what I normally do, because I just talk, don't I, normally? I'm just talk. Blech. Even with the other stuff I do, I just talk. And I've started getting back into doing more of the more hypnosis-y stuff. I still prefer to just talk about a subject, and then just offer suggestions, ideas, scenarios. Just, like a buffet, like try a little bit. Does this fit? And just try stuff out and see what works best for you. That's why I've done so many different types of recordings over the years. So that was a question. It wasn't a Q&A Friday question, but it was still a question that I did answer, but I have thought about it a little bit since. And yeah, I would say if someone's listening to a recording, whether it's me or anyone else that's talking or whispering or whatever, then it might be the whisper. Whispering isn't for everybody. They are weirdly the most popular recordings that I do for some reason, but generally they're not everybody's going to enjoy them. Not everybody's going to like listening to whispers. I mean, it's amazing. Just in this last week, there's only 300 recordings separating the deep sleep whisper from hypnosis for sleeping deeply. Let Me Bore You to Sleep's way down, but that's because I've not made no new recordings, I guess. So that's that. Oh, I've got another question as well from Nobby Sebastian. Official Q&A Friday question: will you do a Let Me Bore You to Sleep on African dictators, especially Robert Mugabe? No. All that energy you put into writing that question, you knew what the answer was going to be. Oh dear. So I've answered all comments. So I answered Hillary first. That's where I've been, and I realised I've been talking for nearly half an hour, so I'll get to the actual other questions now. So Barry asks me, hi, you got to have been asked before, but what would your powers be if you could have multiple powers? If I could have multiple powers, I'd probably just be Superman. He's kind of the best. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's anything. I mean, the only downside is the kryptonite. That's his little Achilles heel, isn't it? But other than that, Superman's pretty cool. Because, whenever they put him against anybody else, generally he wins. I mean, in the in the DC movie, where is it called Batman Lives? Was it called Batman Lives? No, not Batman Lives. Superman Lives. Superman movies. Superman movies. All Superman movies. Superman 1978. Superman 2 1980. Superman 3 1983. Superman 4 The Quest for Peace 1987. Superman Returns 2006. I watched that in a cinema, I did. Number 6, Superman Man of Steel. Man of Steel. How have they managed to miss one out? How strange. So they got Superman Returns. I like that movie. Man of Steel 2013. Batman vs Superman 2016. I like that one as well. And then it skipped straight through to Superman, just called Superman, and it's 2025. Well, I'm sorry. You've missed one out. Why do they put in all Superman movies when it isn't all Superman movies? What about the one where, unless it's not a Superman movie because it hasn't got his name in it? Do you think? Maybe? Superman movies. Right, let's have a look. It was still a Superman movie, even though it wasn't just him. So Man of Steel. So Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, Justice League, he was in that, and then Zack Snyder's Justice League. So Justice League was still a Superman movie because all based around Superman, bringing him back to life, and so it's still a Superman movie. No, he was the star. I mean, literally the whole premise of the movie was based around Superman. It was good though, I liked it, because it also had the other superheroes. But none of the other superheroes could even match him. Like, not 1-on-1, but not even 4-on-1. Which just seems a little bit ridiculous for... I don't know, it just doesn't make the other superheroes look very good. When 4 against 1, they can't win. Like the Flash, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman. That's it, isn't it? Yeah, 4. No, Batman, 5 against 1. 5 against 1 can't win. So it's like... I'd be interested in seeing the new Superman, but I will watch every single Superman movie that's ever released. You know, while I'm around, I will watch them because I like them. I like them a lot. I love superhero movies. I do, big fan. So I would go for. I mean, when I was younger, I'd want to be invisible so I could spy on people, but. That was last month. No, I don't know. I like the idea of being indestructible. I like the idea of living forever, like a vampire, but without having to do vampire-y things. Because then I could see every single TV show that I want to watch. I could read every single book, you know. All the stuff that I'm not going to be able to do because it's physically. There's so many TV shows I want to watch, and it's just not possible to do it. There's not enough time, and there's loads of books. And I don't spend hours in front of the television anymore. Well, I'm literally in front of the television now, but I'm not. Television's just there behind, not behind me, but over there. Technically, yeah, in front of me. The opposite to behind. Multiple powers. I do like the Green Lantern, because that fits in with hypnosis in my weird way. Because what we imagine in our mind, I'll give you an example. There's a technique I used to do on the bus, and I'm not germaphobe, but I've never been a big fan of being around people coughing and stuff like that, and sneezing, and this is long before, 2020. This is going back decades. It's just the idea of someone giving me an illness just doesn't make me feel like dancing, So what I did in my mind is, when I'd be on a bus, instead of getting angry, like internally angry, like, I can't believe that person's come on a bus, they got a full-on cold, how inconsiderate, all that stuff, I would imagine there was a bubble around them, protecting everyone else on the bus. And then I would imagine there was a bubble around me, protect me against everyone else on the bus. And then I imagined that, and it's like different things like that. And then I'd imagine that it would start raining into the bus, like from the ceiling, almost like I guess a fire sprinklers or smokes, those things, spraying everyone invisibly with healing energy, and just covering everyone with healing stuff. As an example, I used to be a bit creative with it at times, but I'd be there with my eyes closed, and I'd feel good, actually. Because instead of sitting there like, how dare they come on here with a cold and sneezing, especially in the summer. It's just be an allergy. It could be an allergy in the winter, but it could be hay fever and like. So to move my way away from that little grumpy old man that I've always been, I was born a grumpy old man. Sometimes with an itchy elbow for some reason. Oh no, my rash has come back. No, it's fine. And I thought, you know what, I'll change this. Because I used to travel on buses a lot. Going back 10 years ago, whatever. I used to be constantly travelling on buses. Longer than 10 years ago now, blimey. So this is a long time ago. And I still did it up till about 10 years ago. No, so I stopped travelling on buses regularly probably about 6 years ago. I've become more and more insular as time's gone by. Yeah, but by imagining that everybody, instead of getting like, it wasn't negative, it was positive, wishing people well, but hoping that person has that healing, so they're in the bubble and the bubble helps to heal them and draws out the infection or whatever it is that's causing them to cough and splutter and sneeze over everyone in that inconsiderate, no, stop. Hopefully it'll just, help to heal them in my mind. So that energy, that mentality calmed me down. And I found it was helpful. Now, I don't care whether or not it helped other people. As far as I'm concerned, it did. But it doesn't matter if it did or not. Is all that matters that was my intention. And I don't think anything bad can come from having good intentions. You know, wishing someone well from a distance can never be a bad thing. How could it be? Because even if it doesn't help them, it helps you. It helps the person sending those good intentions. That's why sending prayers, it's like, it doesn't matter what the religion or belief system is of that person, or the person sending it, or the person receiving it, or the person being focused on. It's a positive thing to do, to wish someone well, whether you know them or not, whether the other side of the world or next to you on a bus, sneezing. So yeah, that's what I used to do. And you might think, oh, what's that got to do with superheroes? Because I've forgotten what I was talking about. Green Lantern. That's it, Green Lantern. It's because a Green Lantern can, if whatever the Green Lantern can imagine happens. So if they imagine, let's say, I mean, in the movie, helicopters basically falling down, and the Green Lantern imagines something catches the helicopter, and then it kind of, a little like railway track like catches it and moves it. It was a bit weird the way they did it, but it was creative, and I like that idea. And because it's only limited by your imagination, there is no limits. There's no limits at all. And I think it's amazing. So yeah, in a way, the Green Lantern is, in some ways, you could say, the most powerful, all dependent upon the imagination of the person that got their finger inside that ring. So I don't know. The thing is, like, imagine a shield in front of him, but then a super baddie will bash the shield down and it won't hold up. So it's kind of like, well, what's the point in holding imagining a shield if it's not going to be indestructible? To me, that's important. So that's what it fits in with, because there's a whole connection between things, like the what's it called, the power of attorney. The Secret. What's that? All that stuff. The Secret. What? The Secret. Law of attraction. Law of attraction. Okay. See, unfortunately, or fortunately, or just, I have read many books and listened to many audiobooks on the subject, going back to the originators, to where it originally came from, and it all fits back to hypnosis. It all goes back to the subconscious or the unconscious mind just absorbing, taking in what you think about. So if someone thinking negative stuff, the unconscious mind's going to just absorb that and accept it. And the stronger the feeling is, the more the unconscious mind will absorb that as a suggestion. That's how hypnosis works. if we were going to simplify it, that's hypnosis. And it's not commands, because the unconscious mind doesn't really, I personally don't think it really takes commands. Some can. I think if somebody is of that mentality of used to being told what to do, then I think they might be more pliable. But the average person, I would say just a bit of gentleness, a bit of kindness, a bit of suggestion rather than you must do this. Like, instead of that, maybe if you thought about this, and then by thinking about it, the emotion arises, the feelings arise, and your unconscious mind is looking. You can say unconscious, subconscious, whatever. I use unconscious, I just prefer it. Is looking at this. And unconscious doesn't mean being asleep, although unconscious does mean being asleep. So it's, so I think that's why some people prefer subconscious, because it's being unconscious as being asleep, but it's still your unconscious mind that you're not aware of, that, So, yeah, that interests me. And that fits together with the superheroes. See, I got it back. The Green Lantern is imagining something. Imagining that things are going to be good. Imagining that you're healthy. Visualization. Yeah, that's what all that's about. A lot of meditation as well. Practices. Emil Coote, is it? Every day and every way out, I'm getting better and better, or I'm feeling better and better. It was a little bit, my memory of that more is from the Pink Panther movies, when Inspector Clouseau's boss used to keep saying it, and every day and every way I'm getting better and better, and he'd be, his eyes would be going because he was a nervous wreck due to Inspector Clouseau winding him up. Yeah, so a lot of things fit together. So thank you for that. So I think, even though the movie wasn't great, The Green Lantern, it was still, I think the Green Lantern's making a comeback in the new Superman movie. Yeah, I just like the idea of being able to, I suppose in the same way as magic, people don't like, a lot of people don't like the idea that some of magic practices are almost visualization, which then fits into hypnosis. So I'm not saying hypnosis is magic, but so much of it crosses over into each other. So, I think it's a way that we can have a powerful effect on ourselves. So if someone was to sit and imagine sending, this is my opinion, this is what I feel is correct. It might not be correct, but it's the only way that I can imagine it could be correct. Could be correct. If I'm sitting here imagining that, let's say someone I know who needs healing, who needs something, and I'm imagining that I'm sending healing to that person, or I'm sending good messages, goodwill, hope that it might be something just like a job interview, like I'm going to send confidence to them because they told me that they weren't feeling particularly confident, so I'm sending confidence their way, and I'm imagining that they're going to feel good and they're going to feel confident and be successful. then regardless of how they get on, it's going to benefit me. I'm not doing it to benefit me, but sending someone else good vibes, good intentions, thinking kindly towards someone else helps the person who's doing it. I like to think it helps the other person as well, but that's just my brain. So from a like a magic kind of perspective, someone that was doing occult stuff, to send something that isn't positive to someone is only going to be negative for the person doing it. That's my perspective on that stuff. So I'm all for anything that's positive, that helps, that's kind, that's, sending out love or sending out well wishes or healing and stuff. That kind of fits in with how I like things, how I think things work. But to do it the other way, which I don't think I've ever done that, to be honest. I can't say that I've always wished everyone well, but I don't wish harm on anyone. I mean, what's the point? But anyone does that, they're sending harm to themselves. And although it seems really simple and obvious, well, to me anyway, I don't think it is that obvious to a lot of people. And it's almost like this most simplistic thing, and it is obvious. It's like A, B, C, D, E. It's just like, how do you spell cat? K-A-T. See, it's easy. It's obvious. C-A-T. It's obvious. And C-A-T-T-E. It's T-A-C-T. I've gone off subject a little bit. I've given you more information about my psyche, haven't I? I didn't mean to do that, sorry. Ing asks me, I think there's a tattoo on your arm. What is the motive and where did you get it done? I'm not telling you. Stop asking me questions. I'll show it to you. Oh, okay, can you see that? I'll have to stand up to show it. Wait a minute. I'm showing it into the camera, so if you want to watch the video on YouTube. What it is, it was I don't know, those the Chinese dragons in Chinese processions, like New Year's and stuff, and they've got a big head and they've got people underneath moving them around. I'm feeling all good. It's weird. I think it's the movement. I'm not used to moving. I'm used to just sitting like this the whole time. Oh, physical movement. Who'd have thought? And I just feel my veins and my arteries like, that's weird. What's that strange movement? Oh, the blood's actually moving through the arteries. There's physical movement. Wow. Big message to the lungs. We need you now. I know you haven't been used for a while, but come on. Oh, a bit of breath, bit of energy. Anyway, there's a story about that. I was on a bus with my friend Neil. He was Scottish, not relevant. Actually, it is relevant because of the tattoo he got. And his tattoo got infected. Still, it's not funny. It was just weird. Mine didn't get infected, but his did. But his was a lot bigger than mine. But no, I'm just thinking. Not so much. It's funny that his tattoo got infected. It's just some of the stuff that he used to do just makes me laugh a little bit when I think of him. So I was 16. My friend from school. We'd left school at this point. We were just getting a bus to the next town just to hang out. No reason particularly, really. And on the bus, this was a Saturday probably. On the bus it might be midweek. On the bus, was a friend of my oldest brother's, so he's 4 years older than us. And he said, hello. I said, who are you? He said, I'm your brother's friend. I said, so? What are you talking to me for? No, he didn't. I knew him for some reason. I guess I must have... Yeah, he went to school. He must have come round the house or something, so I just knew him. I knew him to say hello to. I didn't know him, but, you know. And he said, where are you going, lads? I said, I don't know. Please don't call us lads. He said, I don't know. What are you doing? He said, I'm going to go and get a tattoo. A tattoo. That's how he said it. I'm going to get a tattoo. Really pronounced the ooh bit for some reason. Don't know why. I remember we were sitting at the back of the bus, at the top of the bus at the back, on the right hand side, and he sat on the seat in front of us and turned round. Because I think he must have realised that was the best way for us to hear what he was saying, because the engine's at the back of the bus, isn't it? It's a bit loud, and the first part of the conversation we couldn't hear him because he was facing the front. He'd be like, what? Excuse me? What? Like, then he turned around, I'm going to get a tattoo. Okay. So we just thought, oh, we'll just follow you around. Got nothing else to do. Went to a tattoo shop with him. I'd never been in there. Have to be 18 to get a tattoo in them days. I didn't look older than about 14. I mean, genuinely, I was, 8.5 stone. Well, I was going to say I was skinny. You can't be 8.5 stone without being skinny. Unless you're like, I don't know, a toddler, then you're probably not very skinny if you're 8.5 stone, are you? You know, if I was 5 years old and I was 8.5 stone, I'd have been a big lad. But I was 16. So I didn't look 16. I didn't look 18. But the bloke who did the tattoos did not care. So it's weird because my brother's friend, he didn't seem to know 100% what he wanted. But my friend Neil, straight away, Scottish flag. I want a Scottish flag, he said. Because he was Scottish. And that was identical to his voice. Here, Jason, I want a Scottish flag. I remember meeting him the first time. I think we were about 12 at school. Hey, what's your name? I said, Jason. My name is Neil. Okay, hi. And we had a few laughs, me and him. We did. So he knew what he wanted, so they went and did his tattoo. I think there was more than one person working in there. So he had a Scottish flag on his shoulder. Will still be there. I don't know which shoulder, right or left. My memory is it was a massive flag, but it probably wasn't. And I'm looking, and there was all these like pictures on the walls, and there was these books to look through. And so if I'd have actually been a bit prepared, the obvious thing for me to get would be Bruce Lee, or something like that, or I Love My Nan, or whatever. That would be like an obvious tattoo for me to get at that time. But when I was 16, I was lost, like spiritually, physically, emotionally. I just didn't know where I was anymore. That sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But I didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't know where. I was just in nowhere land for a few years. And so I didn't have anything I was interested in, really. I'd lost interest in martial arts. I was working in a chip shop. I wasn't madly interested in fish and chips. But I was grateful to have a job, I guess. And I I didn't have anything that kind of represented anything that I felt passionate about or connected to, that I wanted inked on my body. But I guess going along with the Chinese, like martial arts, I don't know, I associated those big dragons with martial arts and a lot of martial art movies I'd seen over the years. So I just decided to go with that and get one of them on my forearm, which it looks silly now, but it's very old. I mean, I'm 34 now, so it's a few years back. Yeah, so weird. You know, when I was 31, I thought I was old. Seriously, when I was 31, working in a call centre, I thought, and there was people there 18, 19, 20, and they treated me like I was an old age pensioner. Seriously, like I was old. And now, 24 years later, I am old. And I just look so good. It's just amazing. It's just weird. It's very strange. I started shaving my head 2002. I finished last night. It took ages. There was a lot of hair there. So yeah, I think that is what it is, like a Chinese dragon head. And the only time it's ever got any attention was when I was a DJ. And sometimes people would say, "What's that?" And they'd touch my arm, and I'd be like, "Oh, oh," and then they would turn around and walk away. Yeah. The motif. Okay, so that's done. So 1986, I got that done. So thanks, Ing, Hillary, and Barry. So I've answered your question so far. Michelle's next. You've mentioned being a foster and also maybe liking older women when you were younger, or possibly subconsciously looking for a mother figure. If you don't mind, can you tell me about your birth mum? If too personal, it's okay. I'm a new listener, so you may have addressed this previously. What do you want to know? To be honest, I mean, I don't like to be honest, but I've got a few memories, but I don't have many nice memories. But it's such a long time ago, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I've been a foster mum. That's from Michelle. You're not a relative, are you? You're not my long lost sister. That'd be weird. I do sometimes wonder if I've got a family, like brothers and sisters, because she might have had more kids. I mean, she had 3. She might have had another 3, or another 2, another 5, which would be my siblings, wouldn't they? But I don't know. So I was kind of a mixture. So I remember I had this conversation with one of the counsellors. She was in charge of counselling adopted people and stuff like that, and we had this conversation, and she said was special kind of counselling for people like that, and I think she implied, although we ended up being good friends, and she passed away now. But when I left the job, she was really almost crying. So she liked me a lot. But in that moment, we had a little bit of a ding dong, a little bit of pull and push, a little bit of verbal jousting, a little bit, but And her attitude at the time was, she didn't really know me, is, what the hell, first of all, I'm a man, which I was a counsellor. The idea that men can't counsel females is always, people should have the choice. I think anyone who's having counselling should have the choice if they want to be counselled by a male or a female. If they want to be counselled by a young person or an older person, they should have that choice. And it's standard practice, unless you're paying privately, generally if you go to an agency and it doesn't work out, you're not particularly gelling with the counsellor, then you just ask for a different one. It's not easy to do that, but it's like, you wouldn't perhaps ask the counsellor themselves, like, I just don't feel it with you. I'd like to be with someone else, if that's okay. Can I get one with some hair, please? I'd like a counsellor with some hair. So, but anyway, she said someone like me shouldn't see people that have been fostered or that have been in adopted and stuff like that. And I was like, why not? And she was like, well, because you wouldn't know anything about it. I said, well, you're actually wrong, because I do know about it, because I've been there. I've lived it, man. So briefly, it doesn't mean I'm an expert, but my brief history is about 6 months old. Between 3 and 6 months, my nan told me. My biological mother left, and I don't know quite why, no one's really explained it to me. What happened next? What happened next is, me and one of my brothers was put into foster care, and we were fostered for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then the foster parents wanted to adopt us, and that's when my biological mother came back and took us away. And then we ended up, after a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, we ended up in 2 different children's homes. And then my dad, my biological father, came along and took us. We, started seeing us regularly with his new wife, and his new wife adopted us. So I've been fostered, and I've been adopted, and I've lived in children's homes. I did the whole shebang. As I said, doesn't mean I'm an expert or anything, but I lived it. So yeah, I think I liked older women when I was younger, because I was going to say, because I wasn't fussy, and that might sound rude, but I don't mean it in a rude way. Look, it's maybe funny, I don't know. Because I remember I was talking to this lady in, I think it was a comedy club, the Soho Ho Comedy Club, in probably 93, 94, 92, 93, 94, maybe 95. Probably 95, because I was I had a bit of problems with my stomach, and I was drinking a certain beer that was supposed to be a bit better for my stomach, and I was trying to drink that. What's that beer that used to be in the bottles, but it was not Heineken? That's going to bug me if I don't look it up. Bottles of beer, UK. Bottles of beer. Meth? No, not meth. What's that? Mythos. Beck's. No. No. Budweiser. That's it, Budweiser. I found that Budweiser was a little bit less problematic on my tummy. Anyway, I remember that. That's the little period I was going through, so that probably was about 95. Or maybe it was 93. So anyway, I was talking to this lady, and she was lovely. I really liked her. And she said, can I just stop you? I said, I'm not doing anything. She said, look, you're trying to chat me up. So I guess I would say I was probably younger than 95. It was probably when I was in my very early 20s, because I think I used to sometimes try and chat people up and just do it really badly. And I haven't even attempted to chat a person up in decades, but yeah, I was just trying to just get to know her a little bit, because she was nice. I thought she was nice. And she had a go at me saying, I'm in my 30s, I've got 3 kids, single, but, you know, why would I want to be with someone like you? Okay, fair enough. It was like, okay. It was like a real like, and I'll let you in onto a little secret. At the end of that little conversation, I wasn't quite as into her as I was previously. Yeah. And so that's older. I dated, when I was 17, I dated kind of fell for a 25-year-old. We didn't date, but we did, like, have some fun. And then the same woman, when I was 23, I dated her for 8 months, and she was, I guess if I was 24, she was 30? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So she was 8 years older than me. So I'd be 31, I guess. So she was 31 when I was 24. Because I still had that little torch in my heart for her. And yeah, I dated a few women that were older than me. When I was 21, when I was 20, when I was 19, I dated a woman that was about 25, I think she was. 26, I think she had 3 kids actually, when I was 20. 19, I was 19. And she took the, I liked her. And then my real proper, like, dating girlfriend that I used to sort of go dating in London was older than me. She was about 24 and I was 20. So yeah, for a few years, most of my girlfriends were older. And 2005, my girlfriend was older. Not by much, but she was about 27 and I was 20, just turned 25. And yeah, I think it changed probably when I got to about 26, 27. No, it didn't change. It was just about whoever I met. I didn't care if someone was what age they were, really. You know, if they were 19 or 21. I mean, I didn't really care. Didn't want that bothered. But I don't think I dated many. Yeah, 94 was probably the last time. 95. So yeah, what was the question? Yeah, I don't now. I mean, it seems to be only older women that like me anyway. If I go on to, I'm definitely not looking for a mother figure now. Maybe I was But most of those weren't that much older than me. I don't know. But the thing is, even if I met someone that was 5 years older than me, I've always been so immature. So maybe, I mean, for the last 20, 25 years, most of my friends have been female. Most of my friends have been female. But I quite like having a female friend without any of the relationship nonsense that can happen. So there's certain things I don't have to put up with, and she doesn't have to put up with from me, that can be quite a bit unhealthy sometimes, I find, or I have found. So you don't get to play games. If someone's just a friend, you can't play those games that people play with partners. There's no power struggle. There's no one trying to take the lead, really, because you can't. You can't be in control of someone if they're just your friend. You can't manipulate them. Well, maybe you can, I don't know. I do seem to get a bit manipulated these days, but maybe I've got it all wrong. Yeah, I mean, also it's worth remembering that you might not know this, but my stepmom wasn't old. She was only 21 when she had me. When I was 7. So that's not a big age difference, you know. When I was 16, she was only like 31 or 7. Yeah, she was like 30. So she was a young woman. Even when I was like, well, not an adult, but I was kind of like an adult, I guess, in some ways. So yeah, she's the only mother figure that I can really remember as being a mother figure. The original, the foster parents, I don't remember at all. I wish I did, but I don't. I was a baby. The only part of my memory of my biological mother would have been between the ages of maybe 2.5 and 5, 5.5, 6. I don't know. I'm not sure how long I was with her before I went into to the children's homes. I don't know. Don't have the dates. But I know I was in them until the summer 1977, when I was in, and I left just before I was 7 years old. Yep. So I don't remember. I think she wore glasses, had dark hair. I got no photographs of her at all. No photographs of that period of my life. Nothing. So I don't know. I've got vague memories. My older brothers remember more, because they were older. You think about it. When I was 7, my oldest brother was 11. So he can remember a lot more about what went on. And my other brother was 2 years older. So I've like bits and bobs. And I used to be able to, this is a bit of a weird thing, I used to be able to picture her face. I remembered her face right the way up till probably 12, 13 maybe. And I don't know when it stopped, when it faded, but at some point it just disappeared. If you don't mind to... but yeah, I don't really have... I know where she was born. Well, I know, the town or wherever she was born. I know she met my dad when she was very young. Well, they were both very young. They got married in 1965. Had their first child, my oldest brother, in 1966. Second one in 68, and me in 70. She got married again in about 1972, I think. And yeah. So that's not a lot I can remember. I couldn't even tell you height. I imagine she would have had a London accent, but then I don't know. She stayed in Newcastle for all these years. I imagine she'd have a Newcastle accent, because it's a very strong accent. I mean, it'd be difficult not to. I don't mind you. There's people around here that have lived here for decades, and they've not changed their accent, and they're still have a Liverpool or Scottish or Newcastle or something. So Manchester, yeah, they don't change their accents. But I don't know how strong the southern accent is to someone else. Does that make sense? Because I used to have a Geordie accent, but my accent did change when I moved. But then, I was very young. Yeah. That's all I know, really. I know a few little bits and bobs that I can't really say on here, but I can't really, not really remember too much about her. Dark hair, glasses. Don't know couldn't tell you what she looked like. Her middle name was Michelle. I know that much, Michelle. And the bloke she married for sister. So that's it. I hope that answered your question. Yeah. Ali, this is the last question now. Ali. I broke my wrist last week and have been having bad dreams about the break. Looking at my arm, and I'm not going to read this all out, to be honest, because it's a bit graphic. It gives me the heebie-jeebies so bad I can't fall asleep. Maybe TMI, but advice. Any advice for falling back asleep or relaxing after bad dreams like that? Thank you, Jason and Vinny. So I'm not going to read out the graphic bits of that, because I'm not, but I would say possibly. I mean, we all. Okay, I got a little technique. If you're still listening to this, it's something that might be useful. Okay. So this is something that anyone can do. It's not my idea either. It's not my technique. It's just something that I learned years ago, 25 years ago or whatever. 25, blimey. Longer than that. 1999, 98, 2000, 98, 2008, 18, 28, for 27 years. Oh well. So what you could do, remember, think of it as like a video, and you got right before the incident happened and right after it happened, okay, when things were okay. Not, but it was like you knew what happened and you'd kind of were waiting for help. But the bit where you're saying you're looking at it. So just imagine those two parts, the very beginning going through to the end. It's a little video. You drain out the colour to start with. So turn it into black and white, like those old black and white movies like Harold Lloyd or Charlie Chaplin or Laurel and Hardy, the ones where like there's crackly images and stuff, and the sound is like old and a bit of silly music being played, maybe the Benny Hill theme tune. And what you can do is just fast forward it through it, so right from the beginning all the way to the end, and just see it in fast forward. Then go back, rewind it, fast forward, rewind, fast forward, rewind, fast forward. And then step out of it and then watch it on a bigger screen, but see that little screen on the bigger screen, so you're further away, almost like watching a small television on a big television screen. Fast forward, rewind, fast forward, rewind, fast forward, rewind, and just keep watching that little bit. And imagine getting that tape out, or if it's a CD, imagine just taking the CD or the DVD out and getting a sharp instrument, maybe a screwdriver, and just scratching it over the DVD. Okay, really giving it a good old go. Obviously use the opposite hand to the one that's broken, and then put it back in and play it. Well, it's not going to play, is it? And you can change this around, just test it, because what happens is if you do this, it can change the way that you feel about the situation. It doesn't change what happened, but the way you think about it. Like, okay, it's happened, but the emotion changes, the feelings about it changes, reduces. Yeah. So, hope that was mildly useful. But you might have fallen asleep before I got to say it. So that, I do believe, is all the questions. All the questions. Right, so I'm going to go. Thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. Lots of love. Bye. Notice how Vinny straight away, he wakes up when I say that. Straight away. He was fast asleep the whole time through this recording. You were fast asleep, Vinny, wasn't you? Yes, you were. No, go away. That's it. He's turned his back on me now. Vinny. Hey. What? What is it? What is it, Vinny? What is it? What? What? Let's see if we get him to turn his head. What? What does he want? Still hadn't had his dinner. He hasn't eaten since last night. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you for listening. Lots of love. Bye.